time for a new Carecollab video. Because there are so many participating channels, it would take too long to name them all, but I've put the list in the description below together with the links to their YouTube channels or Carecollab videos. This time, it's all about Paphiopedilum, the slipper orchid, their general care and how I grow them in my home environment. I specifically want to focus on my 3 miniature species. And by the way, welcome to my channel again. All my Paphiopedilum are on a rack that's located just over a meter or just under 4 foot from a northeast window. Although I grow several species and a few hybrid slipper orchids, I have a specific interest in my miniature species. The first one, Paphiopedilum helenae. Most people think that Paphios are ground growing and do best in a soil mix, and although some seem to grow this way, it isn't true. In the wild, they grow mostly in a thin layer of mulch consisting of rotting debris like leaves and twigs that covers the rocky bottom. Often this mulch layer is covered with moss, and this helps to keep the humidity higher around the roots. Some species are real epiphytes, but most of them grow lithophytically, clinging to rocks. These rock surfaces and the rocky mountains they grow on mainly consist of calcium rocks. The roots are stiff, hairy and very brittle, so when we repot them, we need to take care not to break them. In the wild, they get their food from the composting materials around them. With the exception of 1 or 2 species, they never grow in full sun, but always in shaded locations. So when we grow them in the house, we must take care and don't place them right in front of the window, as the leaves and plants burn easily, certainly when it comes to the greyish mottled-leaved species or hybrids. Although there are cooler growing Paphiopedilum, I grow all mine intermediate to warm, and depending on the weather and temperature, I thoroughly water my plants 2 to 3 times a week. And when we have extremely high temperatures during the day, like we had last summer, I also mist them in the morning and evening. Every time I water, I fertilize with occurrence rain mix at the recommended dose. Although many people only use reverse osmosis or rainwater, I also use tap water a lot of the times. The calcium and minerals that are in it don't harm my plants, and since many grow on calcium rocks, there shouldn't be a problem. When watering, I always make sure that the growing medium is thoroughly wetted, and I only water again when the medium has dried out a bit, so the roots aren't constantly wet, which causes them to rot. The next miniature species I really love is Paphiopedilum rungsuriyanum. It's one of the greyish mottled species that occurs in northern Laos and Vietnam and northeast China. Its purple, hairy flowers are huge compared to the tiny plant. I had mine in bud last summer, but due to the high heat, unfortunately the buds blasted. This is the mix I use for my Paphiopedilum helenae, but also is a base for my other miniatures. If you're interested, I'll list the mix in the description below. Now let's see how I repot my Paphiopedilum. I first soak them for approximately 30 minutes in a seaweed solution. I noticed by doing this, my orchids show less stress when I repot them, and they start putting out new roots and growing again much faster. This is especially important when working with new acquired orchids. For my helenae, I use deep Japanese orchid pots. And to be sure of good drainage, I put a cone over the dripping hole. As a cone, I simply use those small 4 cm wide or 2-inch plastic net pots upside down. These Japanese pots usually have feet or slits at the bottom to allow good air circulation. After filling up the pot half with the mix, I carefully place the orchid in the center, spread out the roots, and then fill up with more medium. And since I always use dry medium for repotting, a good watering or soaking is absolutely necessary. all done and the plant is ready to grow on for 1 or 2 more years. Then I will replace the medium. The third miniature I love is a very rare and hard to find one. It's Paphiopedilum canhi. In the wild, it only occurs in northern Laos and northwest Vietnam, with a tiny population near the northeastern border of China. This one also only grows in crevices in the chalk stone mountains as a lithophyte. I was fortunate to get 2 divisions delivered to me from China. If you're interested in the unboxing video, please click the link above to watch it. To pot up Paphiopedilum canhi, it was suggested by Miss Wen King from Wengduan Biotech to add more inorganic media to the mix. So I mixed a 50-50% pumice and crushed lava into my potting mix, which resulted in approximately 30% more of inorganic media in it. In the bottom of the pot, I put a piece of drainage mesh to avoid that the finer particles in the mix would fall through. When we pot up slipper orchids, we have to be careful not to plant them too deep. The crown of the plant must always be placed well above the soil level. If you plant these orchids too deep, the crown will rot. After the repot, again a good soak, and the young plants are ready to grow on. And hopefully we'll see some flowers in 1 or 2 years. I hope you found this interesting and hope to see you again on my channel. Thanks for watching and hopefully until next time.